Hello, I'm Reise, and if it's okay with you, could I ask a few questions about your industry in pork?
Sure.
So, can you tell me a bit about yourself, where you're from, and what brought you into this industry, and what is your job?
So I grew up on a farm south of Saskatoon on a dairy farm, so I've always been interested in the water side of things and on the agricultural side of things. So environmental work for animal agriculture was what I was always interested in as a kid. And so as I got older, I went to university and I got a degree in engineering. The pork industry expanded and there was lots of demand for engineers to work in that industry to help set up sites, set up barns, do geotechnical work for liners, those kind of things. And so I ended up consulting to the pork industry, which then turned into a master's and a PhD work and ended up as an academic.
What kind of education do you need to become an engineer?
So I went through and got 4 years of engineering degree. You can also work, a lot of the work I do can also be, is also done by environmental science people. The difference though is in order to stamp a drawing, anything that's designed that protects the public or the environment has to be stamped by an engineer. And to be an engineer, you have to have a 4-year engineering degree. And so I have my 4-year engineering degree, which allows me to register as a professional engineer and take responsibility for design. A lot of my work is in siting of barns. So when you're going to develop a hog facility, you have to have a spot for them. And so you have to know what the geology is underneath, what the soils are, so that you can design containment systems for the manure, so you have foundations for the barn, those kind of things. And so my work is to go in and find those right sites that protect the environment, but also are good for the barn to be able to set up a hog operation. That's my consulting work. My research work has advanced from there to actually what I work on now is getting pathogens out of trucks. So disease control, as you transport hogs around the province or around Canada or internationally, you want to make sure there's no disease in the trucks. And those pathogens are really small. If I put 2 dimes together, on the edge of those 2 dimes, I can put 64 million viruses.
So what would be your day-to-day activities, like just the things that you do every day, part of your job?
So my job now as an academic day-to-day, we do a lot of lab work. We do some work with Vito. So we go and we look at pathogens, how do we destroy them? And then we work with the industry on implementing things like bake ovens for trailers. So if you can imagine as an engineer, I need to know what kills those pathogens. But once I know, now I've got a 53-foot trailer and I have to treat that trailer. So you have to build basically an oven, put the trailer in and bake it after it's clean. And we bake them to 75 degrees for 20 minutes, make sure every surface gets to that temperature and that kills the pathogens.
So is it like a hard job or is it pretty easygoing?
It depends on if you're good at math. You need to have a lot of math and science and the education behind, but once you have that, it's really, really interesting to drill holes in the ground and find out what's underneath and study the soils and get right down from building liners out of soil to right down understanding what the microbes are that change nutrients and then pathogen control. So I find it very, very interesting.
So what would be your favorite thing?
Always learning something new, I think, and feeling that you made a difference. I'm always learning new, but at the same time, we're always helping the industry become better and we're protecting the environment and the public while we're doing it.
If some students wanted to pursue the path that you took in becoming an engineer, what advice would you give to them? You
need to get your maths and science, particularly grade 10, 11, and 12. You need those backgrounds in biology, in chemistry, in physics, and in math, and then pursue an engineering degree in whatever interests you, geological engineering, civil engineering, environmental engineering, but you need that 4-year degree because the rules are you have to have a 4-year engineering degree in order to be registered as an engineer. After you've got a 4-year degree, then you have 4 years you have to work under another engineer before you can take responsibility yourself for design work.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for watching The Whole Hog. We appreciate all of our sponsors for helping make this happen. Make sure to subscribe and check out all of our videos on YouTube.